In this video, we are taking a look at Cryptosteel's Seed12 metal backup. First, I'll cover why backing up your seed phrase in metal is crucial, why Seed12 is an excellent metal backup option, and how to set up and use your backup system. Before I explain everything, you can grab a Seed12 or any other Cryptosteel product from their website, cryptosteel.com. They also have the Seed24, which is designed to store 24 words, and they have the Cryptosteel cassette. In this video, we are using the Seed12 with the entire Seed12 security kit. When checking out on Cryptosteel's website, using the code SouthernBitcoiner will get you 10% off on your order. And let's get back to the video. The most important thing to understand about Bitcoin security is that you do not actually store Bitcoin. You only store the keys that grant you access to your Bitcoin. Your seed phrase is the single most vital piece of information that you need to protect. It is the list of 12 or 24 words randomly generated by your wallet that derive every private and public key needed to access your Bitcoin. Your wallet's job is to simply store a copy of this seed phrase so that it can manage your Bitcoin. But without the seed phrase, your wallet cannot do that. We also all know that hardware does not last forever. Computers can crash, phones get stolen, and hardware wallets can simply fail. As a responsible Bitcoin holder, you must assume that any device you use to manage your Bitcoin might be gone tomorrow. And that is why you need a backup of your seed phrase that will outlast your hardware. And the best way to do that is in metal. A metal backup protects your words and therefore your Bitcoin against fire, water, physical damage, and just the general wear and tear of time. And that is where Seed12 comes in. This device is engineered specifically to safeguard your seed phrase and other sensitive data against the environment. Even if your hardware wallet fails, your Bitcoin remains secure with a backup that is designed to last. I am a big fan of the Seed12 backup system in particular for multiple reasons. Firstly, you can change the seed phrase at any time. There is no need to buy a new Seed12 if you happen to move to a new Bitcoin wallet. Simply change the letters that are in your backup system. Secondly, unlike other backups, Seed12 can store more than just letters. It can store uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and even special characters. So you can store a lot more than a seed phrase in your backup. For example, if you use a password manager, you might want to store your master password in a Seed12. If you're using a Bitcoin passphrase, that can also be stored within your Seed12 backup system. Next, let's go ahead and unbox our device and set it up using a 12-word seed phrase. Here I have the Seed12 security kit, and in this kit we get the Seed12 backup system, we get the capsule container, and finally the tamper-evident security seal. So if I go ahead and open this box, we will see all three components inside. Here we have the letter tiles, which we will use to actually write out our seed phrase. Then we have the capsule itself, which we will store the letter tiles inside. And finally, we have the tamper-evident security seal, which will seal our capsule and make sure that nobody opens this capsule without us knowing about it. Finally, at the bottom of the box, we have the user manual. So what I'm going to do is quickly run through how to put a seed phrase into your Seed12 backup system. The first thing we need to do is actually spell out our seed phrase. So here on Blue Wallet, I have generated a new set of 12 words. We're going to spell these words out using our letter tiles, and we'll put them in the capsule. Now, one thing to note about BIP39 seed words is that you actually only need the first 4 letters for each word. This is because no 2 words from this word list have the same first 4 letters. So what we are going to do is go ahead and grab letters from this box and spell out our seed using the first 4 characters. Here I have the box that contains all our letter tiles, as well as the separators, the pins, and finally our core. So I'll go ahead and open this box. And here is everything we get. This large packet contains the letters, this contains the fasteners and separators, and finally the core itself is over here. So we'll pull this out, and this will actually store the letter tiles. I'm going to now open the letter tile packaging and just put all my letters here on my desk. Now we need to find the letters that correspond with our seed phrase and write our seed phrase out so that we can put it onto our core and then insert this into the capsule. My first word is verb, so I will look for the letters V, E, R, and B. Let me go ahead and do that. Here I have all 4 letters V, E, R, and B. So what I'll do is put these to a side and I'll list all 12 words in order. Here to the bottom left of your screen we'll see word 1. Now I need to search for word 2, which is broom. So we only need the first 4 letters of this word, so I need to find B, R, O, and O. Here are the letters B, R, O, and O, so I'll go ahead and put them next to my first word, and I'll do this until I have all 12 words. Alright, I now have the first 4 letters for each of my words. Remember, you only need the first 4 letters because that is enough to tell what your word is. I also decided to write down each of my words and put the corresponding letters next to those words. What we need to do now is put our letters onto this core so that we can slide it into our capsule. The first thing we need to do is add a stopper onto our core, which I'm going to grab from here. I've just opened this packet and I'll pour out all the separators and stoppers, and we need to look for our stopper. So I can see one over here, and this will be the end piece for our letters. This will secure everything in place. I've zoomed in over here so you can see exactly what I do, but you need to slide one side of the stopper through the core, just like that. Then you slide the core through the middle, and then the other side of the stopper needs to go through the core as well. And then you can squeeze this tight, just like that, and that is the end piece of our core. Now we can go ahead and slide the letters on, and we'll put the separator tiles to separate each word. So here my first word is verb. I'll go ahead and slide each letter onto my core now, starting with V. So I'll grab V, I'll make sure it points upward toward me, and there is V. Next I'll do the E with the exact same process. I will make sure the E faces upward toward me, and there we go, I have V and E. Now I'll do R and B real quick. And there we go, I now have the word verb on my core consisting of 4 letter tiles. So what I need to do now is add a spacer before I add the next word. So I'll go ahead and grab a spacer, which looks like this, and I'll slide it onto my core, and there we go, we now have 4 letters and our spacer. I can go ahead and apply the next 4 letters now, which is broom. So I've got B, R, O, and O. I'll do the same thing I did previously and point the letters towards me. And there we go, I now have B, R, O, and O, and we have that spacer between our 2 words. So I'll go ahead and put another spacer now, just like that, and we have 2 words plus an additional spacer so that I can apply my 3rd word, which is turn. So I will grab the T, slide that on, grab the U, slide that on, R, and finally N, and then again we will put a spacer to separate our next word. Now I'll go ahead and do that for all 12 words. You don't need to watch me do that every time. Alright, I now have all 12 words on my core over here, and each word is separated by a separator piece. Now I can add the final touch, which is going to be another one of these end pieces to stop all the tiles from sliding out. So I'll go ahead and grab one of these over here, and we're going to apply this to the end. To do this, I'm going to slide the leg of my stopper end piece through the core just like that. Then I slide the core through the middle of the end piece, and I slide the other leg through so it looks like that. And then we go ahead and just squeeze this down to tighten it into place. And there we go, we now have our 2 fastener pieces on each end, so our words cannot fall out. And here we have a 12-word seed phrase secured in metal. Now the next step would be to put these letter tiles into our capsule. But before we do that, we want to double check that these letters are correct. At the end of the day, these letter tiles will store the words that secure our Bitcoin. We must ensure that they are accurately recorded. So what I'm going to do is look at each individual letter, write them down on this piece of paper, and then compare them with my seed phrase just to ensure I've recorded the seed correctly on this device. To do this, I'm going to lie the device down just like this, and using a pen, I'm going to look at each letter individually. What I will do here is use my pen to reveal the first letter tile, which is V. So here on my piece of paper, I will write down 1 and then V, just like this, to record my first letter. Using my pen, I will reveal the next letter, which is E. So I will write that down next to V. And now on my paper, I have V and E. The next letter is R, so I will write that down. And finally, we have the letter B. So I will write that down as the final letter of my first word. And here we can see my first word is verb. Now keep in mind you only need the first 4 letters for each of these words. Now that word 1 is complete, I will go ahead and move the spacer backwards to begin the next word. I will now slide back the first tile of word 2, and we can see that is letter B. So on my paper, I will write down 2 and B, just like that. And the next letter is R. I will write that down. Then we have letter O. I will write that down. And finally, we have another O. So I will write that down. Now my paper looks like this. I have verb and then BROO, which would stand for the word broom. Remember, we do not need all 5 letters in this case, we only need the first 4. So what I will do now again is move the spacer back, and we can continue with word 3. I'm not going to bore you with the entire process, but basically you'd want to look at each letter until you have all 12 words written down. So I will proceed to do the rest of these words off camera. Okay, so we can see my final letter was R, which I have recorded on this piece of paper. Here I have the seed phrase, or the letters that I just recovered from my Seed12 backup. So we just need to make sure that what I've got in the metal and on this paper matches the wallet that I have just created. So I created my wallet in Blue Wallet, and here it is. It's called Cryptosteel Wallet, and I need to make sure this backup matches this wallet. Now, the easy way to do this is to simply open your wallet and then go to your settings and view the backup or view your seed words and just double check that this matches what you have written down. Now, this process will be the same for any wallet you use. If you have a hardware wallet, you would also simply view the seed words again on your hardware wallet and compare it with what you have written down. Whether it be a cold card, a Trezor, or perhaps you're using Sparrow Wallet, the process is the same. Just go into your settings or wherever you need to go to view the seed, and you can actually compare that what you have here matches this. Now, this is just the easier method, doing this visual comparison. I can see by looking at both sets of words that I have the same seed phrase. Therefore, I can be sure that this metal backup matches my actual wallet seed. But what I prefer to do is actually do a test restore. And what that means is we're going to delete this wallet completely off our phone and then restore the wallet using our backup. In this case, we will just use the paper because it represents what we have in metal. Again, this would apply to any wallet you might be using. If you're using a hardware wallet like a cold card or a Trezor, you can wipe the seed off of your device and reload it from the backup. So we will go ahead and do that now. There are 2 ways to make sure you import the same wallet. So the first thing you can do is click on receive, and take note of the Bitcoin address you see. So here we can see that this one ends in 6XVNMHT3. So I will remember this Bitcoin address, and when we restore this seed phrase, it should show the same Bitcoin address. But I will also send a little bit of Bitcoin to this wallet so that when I restore it, I should see the exact same balance. And when I see that same balance, I know that this metal backup is the same seed phrase as my wallet should be. So I'll quickly go ahead and send some Bitcoin to this wallet. Okay, I have just sent the Bitcoin over, so if I give this a refresh, we should see some Bitcoin arrive, and there we have a pending transaction. So this transaction is not yet confirmed, but we can see I have 0.00117892 Bitcoin in this wallet. So when I recover the wallet from my seed, I should see the same balance and the same Bitcoin address. Okay, so what I'll do now is delete this wallet from my phone, and I can comfortably delete this wallet because I have the seed phrase backed up. So that wallet is completely wiped. We can now go ahead and reload this seed phrase into Blue Wallet, and we should see the same balance. So no matter what wallet you're using, the process should be fairly similar. We'll create a new wallet and click on Import Wallet, and then we'll go ahead and type our seed phrase in. Most wallets only need the first 4 letters of each word, so I'll type the first 4 letters of each word and import that. Alright, all 12 words are in, so I'll click on Done and Import Wallet, and it's going to go ahead and locate that wallet for me now, and there we go. It says your wallet has been successfully imported. I'll click on OK, and I'll just give this a refresh, and there we go. That transaction is still pending, so it's not showing in my balance, but if I click on my wallet, we'll see it's the exact same amount, 0.00117892 Bitcoin. Then if we click on that transaction and click on details, we'll see the same Bitcoin address should show. So earlier I took note of the address, which would be the output address in this case, and we can see it ends in VNMHT3. So that's the same Bitcoin address. And the reason you might want to check that Bitcoin address is because maybe you aren't comfortable sending Bitcoin to this wallet because you're about to delete it. So you might just want to only check the address. Again, you can do this process for any wallet. You can delete the seed phrase on a cold card, for example, and restore the same seed phrase into the same wallet, and you will see the same Bitcoin addresses and the same balance if you had Bitcoin there. And with that process being complete, we now know for sure that our backup is accurate. This metal accurately represents the Bitcoin seed phrase that will store our Bitcoin. We can go ahead and actually put these words in our capsule now. So I will loosen the capsule's lid just like that, and we will slide our core with our letters into the device and screw it back on. And now we have a 12-word seed phrase secured in metal in our capsule. All that's left to do is add our security seal. Here I have the Seed12 security seal, and in this box we get 3 security seals and 3 cut wires. I'll go ahead and open this box up and grab one of each component. Here we can see the 3 security seals and 3 cut wires, so I'll grab one seal and I'll pull one of these wires out, just like that, and this is what we need to seal one Cryptosteel capsule. The main idea here is to take this wire and slide it through the holes on our Cryptosteel capsule and lock this wire into place, so that if anybody wanted to open our capsule and view our seed words, they would have to cut this wire, and therefore we would be able to tell that this capsule has been opened and potentially compromised. Now there are a few different ways to do this. You can position this seal at the top or to the side. I prefer mine on the side, so I'll show you how to put that into place. Here I have my wire, and what I'm going to do is slide one end through the top of my Cryptosteel capsule and the other through the bottom end. Then I will pull both sides through the capsule just like this. Now I want to place my security seal on the side, so to get the wires there, I'm going to bring them closer to each other, just like this, and tie them like that. Now I'll wrap the longer side around, and now we have 2 wires pointing up to the side of my capsule. Now I need to put these two wires through my seal and shut it closed. So I will point both wires through the little holes on the side of my capsule and push them through just like that. Now I have two wires through my security seal, which is ready to be locked into place. To lock it in, I'm going to push this seal inward until I hear a click. So I'll go ahead and push this in nice and hard. Now it may appear that my security seal is in place, but I actually did not hear that click. Therefore, this thing is not actually securing my capsule right now. I need to hear that click, and the reason I can't is because I made the wires a bit too tight. So what I'll be doing now is demonstrating that if you do not hear a click, you can still take this seal off without breaking the wire. So I'll put some scissors in here, just like that. And here you can see I've effectively pulled this metal tab right out, and I can pull the seal out of the wires. So without that click, your seal is not properly in place. So I'll try to put this on again. I'll leave a bit more room on the wires so it can properly click into place this time. So I will stick the wires through the bottom of my seal. And I'm going to stop right there so that there's a bit of room on the other side. And I will squeeze the two ends together. And there we go. You heard that click that time. And now I have this secure in place. And if I were to try open this up with scissors, I wouldn't be able to get through without breaking this wire. And I'll just give this a bit of a test. I'm going to try pull it right off. And it doesn't quite budge. I would have to literally cut these wires to get this security seal off. Now, one thing you should take note of is the number on your security seal. Somebody could easily cut this wire and put a new security seal on your Seed12 once they have your seed phrase, and you would have no idea that your device was compromised. So you should take note of what this number is, and if you ever see a different number on the side of your capsule, you'll know that somebody has swapped it out for a different seal, and your seed phrase may be compromised. So I now have my Bitcoin seed phrase secured in metal, secured by a tamper-evident seal, and now my seed phrase will last a lot longer than my hardware wallet ever would. And there we go. That is how to set up and use your Seed12 backup system. If you want to purchase a Seed12, you can from Cryptosteel's website, cryptosteel.com. They also offer the Seed24, which is designed to store 24 words, and they have the Cryptosteel cassette. When you check out on Cryptosteel's website, using the code SouthernBitcoiner will get you 10% off on your order, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.